This is Thickney, some beautiful nocturnal life. This is a nightjar. This is a jungle nightjar. Jackals, leopards, nilgai. There's just a variety of wildlife. And of course, there's lions. I mean, this guy is called Raju by the tourists. And doesn't he look like he just roared at an MGM Grand movie? And if this guy was at the young side of the pyramid of the spectrum, then I had this old veteran of 12 years who'd been through several fights. I mean, he did look like he had a fierce temper. Gave us a big long stare. Wanted us to be away, but was majestic. And of course, there are cubs, and there's something to be said about how cute these cubs are. They once they grow a little bigger and they have a bit of a mane, they want to assert their presence. But the coolest thing is that we as human beings don't think of animals having emotions. But when you look at a pride of lions, you'd see that everyone usually goes to the oldest female and tries to express their affection. This is that same cub expressing his affection to mom. This is one of her older litter coming and trying to get a kiss from mom. And it's amazing how she gets up and there's not a word spoken. She just stands up, she looks around, and everyone follows in a single file. I mean, that's discipline for you. And speaking on this topic of cubs, I mean, they look beautiful when they're asleep. Though it's not the most exciting time to film them because you've got the one shot and you're done. But they're really cute. Anyways, I was talking to you about these 400 lions, and I was telling you that seems like a rosy picture, but it isn't really. Now, the problem with Gir lions isn't so much a conservation issue. It is, but it's more of a political issue. This is Mr. Narendra Modi, who's the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and he's been taking this as a state pride issue. Now, I'll give you a bit of context. The Serengeti in Tanzania is about 26,000 square miles as compared to Gir, which is just about 1,500 square kilometers, a much smaller forest. In the 1990s, about 3,000 lions in the Serengeti, as compared to 400 lions of Gir, got affected by a strain of canine distemper. That strain of canine distemper wiped out 1,000 of those lions, a third of that population that got affected. Now, Gir is just 400 lions. Imagine if canine distemper, which is very prevalent in our street dogs, I'm pretty sure you can hear the street dogs barking behind me. If the lions got canine distemper from our street dogs and this became an epidemic, we could lose the last wild Asiatic lions of the world. Now tell me, is this a question of state pride, or is this a question of preserving the world's natural heritage? So there's some very silly politics going on
Fascination.
there. I wanted to watch this video. This is Bevan Derek Joburg, and there's a lion that's getting
Or
shot.
sees that magnificence. The numbers speak for themselves. While safari hunters shoot about 500 males a year, it's from an incredibly small gene pool.
500 lions get killed by safari hunters each year. And there's a macabre fascination to try and kill the biggest lions possible. You've got to see the size of that lion. Now, this is a problem, right? Because let's say this lion was at the head of the pride. You can see how huge he is. There would be a lot of nomads, smaller challengers that would have been willing to get at the head of his pride, but wouldn't have the courage to do so because he's so big and huge. So now that you kill this lion, and let's say he has 7 or 8 males who have about 10 or 15 cubs, maybe sometimes 20, it gives the opportunity to the new male to take over the pride. Guess what happens when the new male takes over the pride? The same thing that happens amongst all cats, infanticide. The new male kills the 10, 15, 20 cubs in the pride and then settles himself as the head of the pride. One lion results in the mortality of 10 to 20 other lion cubs. But that's not the only problem. Here, you've gone ahead and killed a big lion, and that's allowed a smaller lion to come and sit at the top of the pride and propagate his genes. What you've effectively done is you're taking away all of the big lion genes from the rest of the world, and the world's left with weaker, smaller lion genes. Is that what we should be doing with one of the most magnificent, one of the most charismatic creatures in the world? I'll leave that for you to think. So, coming back, lions done, tigers. Tigers are definitely my favorite animal. There's a saying, and this is from one of our parks, nobody can show you a tiger if you go into a park, and that's the fun of it, and I believe so. It's really exciting to go out there and track tigers. They're extremely stealthy, very shy. They don't like to come out in the open. This is how they'll just camouflage themselves in their environment. So you could barely see this tiger until she came out and just presented herself for a split second and then just settled in the grass. So where did I go? Let's start. So number 2, which you see on the map there, is Bandhavgarh. Number 3 is Kanha. Number 4 is Pench. Number 5 is Tadoba. Number 6 was supposed to be Ranthambore, but I didn't go there, so I skipped straight ahead to number 7, which was Corbett. And then number 8 was Bandipur, and number 9 was Kabini. So these were the parks that I went to get a glimpse and possibly get some photographs of tigers. And this summer, what a summer it was. It was a great time to be in the parks. Everyone was photographing tigers. There were beautiful beasts all around. This one was hardly about, 8 feet away? And she was beautiful. She was gorgeous. You could just count the hair on her body. And this is a very distinctive cat. If you notice his forehead, he has a very unique marking. It says cat on it. No guesses there what family he belongs to. His name is Munna, a big favorite with the tourists in Kanha. But the biggest draw was the fact that we had cubs, and there were cubs in every park. And here's the thing, cubs are just the most beautiful thing to photograph. They're curious. They want to play. This tiger cub was just so curious about me. It wanted to be out, but it was very suspicious. But when they're out and they want to start playing, they play, and how? So let me tell you the story of these 4 cubs. This cub decided, he had a stick to play around with. His brother said, no, well, you have a stick. Well, I'm going to play around with this bush. His other brother said, if you have a stick, I have a stick too. But then the 4th guy decided he wants to outdo everyone. So he decides he's going to uproot a tree all by himself. Of course, he can't do that. He's too small for that. But you can see that sibling rivalry, that personality just starts to come through right from the early years. And of course, once they get tired, then you have them trying to do all sorts of lazy stuff. I call this picture a wink, a blink, and a lazy cat. This is 3 of the 4 cubs that I just showed you. And Mom keeps a watchful eye, but she couldn't care less. All she wanted to be aware of was that I wasn't causing any harm to her cubs. And all she did was, kept half an eye on her cubs, kept most of her eyes on me. And yes, I really fell in love with this family. But why tigers? I'm really passionate about this, and there's a reason why I think we need to think about tigers strongly. Tigers stand for an ecosystem. If you think of this ecosystem, it supports a huge variety of animals and birds. Look at that variety of birds, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Such a huge variety of mammals. That elephant decided it was going to go on its belly and do a bit of a rollover like a dog. Jackals, mongoose, wild dogs, deer, gore. You've got to see people's faces, and you've got to see how crestfallen they are when they don't see a tiger. This is a group that was waiting for a tiger, and they didn't see one, and they were disappointed. The forest is a much better place when you have a tiger in there because it supports this much wildlife. And it's true for any species that sits right on top of the food chain. It requires a lot of space, and that space that it requires can be a home to its prey, to frogs, to plants, to stuff that has medicinal value, to snakes, reptiles, big mammals like elephants, whatnot. I mean, a tiger is almost a protector of the forest. But the biggest thing for India in particular, and for most tiger range countries, is water. 600 of India's rivers originate from our tiger forests. And that's because forests form a catchment area for a lot of rainfall and water. The day the tiger disappears, our reason to conserve forests disappears. And the day we stop conserving our forests, our water disappears. We already have a huge water crisis in India. Do we want to make that bigger by letting our protector of forests go extinct? It's a question for all of us. We've got big problems. There's a problem of poaching. This is a tiger from 2 months back, cut into 10 pieces, its paws taken away, its head taken away, its intestines, heart, kidney taken away, all for the purpose of skin trade and jewelry and Chinese medicine. It's a huge superstition in Southeast Asia that medicines made out of the parts of a tiger offer cures to difficult ailments. And it's a superstition at the end of the day. There's a lot of people who believe it, and that creates a huge market for tiger parts. Nothing in a tiger usually gets wasted. In this situation, the previous situation which I showed you, the poachers actually left something. But usually everything, tiger blood, tiger penis, tiger kidney, tiger liver, tiger teeth, tiger claws, tiger eyes, everything gets used in medicine. A dead tiger is worth a lot more than a tiger that's alive. And people will do bad things. That's how easy it is to skin a cat. And this problem actually extends itself to lions as well. So one of these is a tiger skeleton, and one of these is a lion skeleton. They look so alike that once we get rid of all the tigers of the world, it's going to be the turn of the lions. And then some strange person decided that they were going to fool the rest of the world by saying, well, why don't we have a tiger farm? Because if we have a tiger farm, we can preserve the genes and ensure that the tigers don't get extinct, and we can preserve this beautiful animal. Firstly, that's a lie. Tigers in forests are what we want to preserve because they preserve the ecosystem around it. But the biggest lie is that they don't actually want to save tigers. This is what they do to tigers. Because a dead tiger is worth a lot more than a tiger alive, as I said to you. There's a law against killing tigers, but there's no law against tigers dying. So what do? You starve tigers, and you put a lot of them into a cage. After a while, their tempers fray, and they attack each other. They fight each other because they're solitary animals to start with, and they kill each other. And then you have this, which is nothing but a pile of bones, skin, blood, meat, and everything that you need to create tiger medicine and tiger products. So, what can you do? It's not all bad. The first thing that any one of us can do is get to know a lot more about tigers. The Truth About Tigers is a brilliant website by Shekhar Dattari. In fact, if you wanted to watch this movie, you can download it for free. You can watch it online for free. If you'd like Shekhar and his colleagues to actually come down, they're more than happy to actually help you out and answer your questions. They can come down to your premises. They do this all the time. It's a brilliant website and a brilliant movie. You should definitely watch it. So, story of lions done, story of tigers done, brings me to the story of leopards. By the way, I have to give credit to my friend Yash, to whom this picture belongs. Unfortunately, I don't have too many great vertical photographs of leopards. So my friend Yashpal Rathore took this picture when he went to Pera, a place where I haven't been, but I'm going there this winter. But he definitely deserves credit for this one. Anyways, so I must have seen 80 or more individual big cats, but of them, only 3 were leopards. And here's why. Take a look at this picture. Do you see the leopard? I'm going to leave it on screen for a bit. And let's see if you can find the leopard. Give up? All right. Let's look. The first leopard is here.